When a loved one goes missing, your heart searches for them everywhere.
I had lost somebody in an MMIW scenario. And I felt a lot of those things. Like I felt like there was a presence. I would feel like lights flickering, and you're just looking for that connection also, I think. So I really wanted to write about that experience.
Upcoming graphic novel Little Moons explores the different ways grief can affect the relatives of missing and murdered Indigenous women. Ojibwe author Jen Storm says though the story isn't based on her personal experience, it's a subject that's all too common within the Indigenous community.
Grief was important to me because I think that was a really hard thing for me to experience, and I know it's hard for other families to experience that have to deal with MMIW because not everyone's found, right? And so there's this like weird grief that you go through, I think. When you're expecting the worst news, you kind of already know, but you don't have the answers or the mourning or the body or whatever it is.
Through vivid colors and thought-provoking illustrations by Ryan Howe and Alice R.L., Little Moons follows 13-year-old Rihanna while she watches her immediate family deal with the disappearance of her older sister, Chelsea. Rihanna feels abandoned by her mother, who leaves their reserve to live in the city when emotions get too difficult to handle.
If you lost a daughter, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what would go through your mind or how you would cope, or maybe that's the best she could do. Yeah. So it's like, I kind of wanted that to be in there because I know people don't react ideally, they react humanly.
Despite the pain, there's also hope found within Little Moons. Rihanna finds strength and comfort in connecting with spiritual practices.
It was really important to me for the main character to really have that connection to her community and her traditions, and to find comforts, and then also have that parallel of her mother who felt she had to run away from it.
Storm says the title was inspired by her own son's experience of seeing her late childhood friend.
My son was, I think, 2, not even, and he was in his crib, and I went up to him and he was saying, I saw Auntie, and he's never met her. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you met Auntie? And he's like, she was here, like, and he kept, like, he was insisting. And I just kind of played along, and I was just like, well, what did Auntie look like then? And he was like, she looked like Little Moons. So that was like, oh.
Storm hopes that Little Moons can be a resource for any person, young or old, who is struggling with losing a loved one. Readers can find it on store shelves when it comes out September 3rd. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.